What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So early Monday morning, Southern California got a little bit of a wake-up shake with a magnitude of 4.1 earthquake right off the coast of Los Angeles County.
Let's get back to that breaking news. An earthquake south of Rancho Palos Verdes. It is a 4.1 magnitude now. It's gone back and forth between 3.9, 4.1. As we get more information, we're hearing that people felt it for a large geographic region. We're taking a look at the activity right now.
And it wasn't anything too wild, but folks over in LA, Orange County and Ventura counties definitely felt it. In fact, people were talking about it all online. Even the firefighters were talking about, feeling it during the Rose Parade in Pasadena. So, but thankfully, no one was reported as being injured, and so that's always a good sign. I don't know how many of you guys have family or relatives in California. But hey, before we dive into that, just a real quick shout out. If you appreciate staying in the know on all of the different earth shaking news, be sure to hit the like button for the video and definitely subscribe to the channel. I've got a lot more that I want to share with you guys in this video besides this particular earthquake, including what's going on over in Tokyo right now. So I'm gonna make sure to keep you guys in the loop here. If you appreciate that, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. So let's have a look at the videos and let's jump right into the action, guys. I got some pretty intense stuff that I want to share with you. This earthquake center was chilling about 10 miles southwest of San Pedro and not too far from other local spots. And it's not super unusual for the area based on the research that I've done, which actually sees about 5 earthquake size between 4.0 and 5.0 on the Richter scale every single year.
More than 3,000 people responding to this 4.1 earthquake. Back to you.
Wow. All right. We want to head now to Jessica Turner. She is a geophysicist with the USGS. Thank you so much for joining us right now. Tell us what you know about this and put in perspective for us whether you expect more activity.
Yeah, so as was said already, there was a magnitude 4.1 earthquake that occurred just before 8:30 California time today, and like it was said, it was pretty widely felt in the Southern California area. This area of California, as much of the rest of the state, does see a lot of earthquakes from time to time. I did a quick search of magnitude 4 and above earthquakes in about a 60-mile radius of today's earthquake, and there have been over 300 earthquakes with magnitude 4 and above in this area since 1900. So this isn't unfamiliar. I always try to remind people, if you do feel an earthquake, just make sure to look around you, make sure things are folded to the wall, nothing will fall on you with really intense shaking. We probably won't see, we will see probably some smaller aftershocks with this earthquake. We do not know if it will lead to a bigger earthquake. That's just something that we cannot predict, but California especially is very prepared for earthquakes.
And tell us, overnight that we heard of a major earthquake in Japan, 7.5 there. Could there be any connection between this activity?
There's probably not connection, like direct connection. But both of these earthquakes are very close to the Ring of Fire, so I mean, we have that Pacific plate kind of moving at the different ends of the Pacific Ocean, but they're not directly related. They're too far apart for that to have been the case.
When you say there could be more activity or possibly a bigger quake coming, that's not to be alarmist. It's just, talking about the scientific phenomenon. What is the time frame typically? When can we maybe consider ourselves in the clear?
I think after maybe a couple of days. But again, it could be like a week or two later. We've seen that before with the Tohoku in Japan earthquake in 2011. There was like a 7.2 or magnitude 7 earthquake, like maybe a week or two before the 9.0 earthquake occurred. So, I mean, it just depends.
Yeah, so seismologist Lucy Jones, she hopped on social media and pretty much let everyone know that this New Year's Day quake wasn't going to be hanging around for any known faults. And it also wasn't going to be causing any tsunamis, so that was a very good sign. But just for the record, this particular California earthquake was not related to the earthquake that took place in Japan. Now, speaking of, Japan had a pretty rough start to the new year with a massive 7.5 earthquake hitting Western Japan. Now, this was a very serious earthquake with buildings going down, fires starting up in Wujima City. Sadly, there have been some reported deaths as well. A photo even hit the social media platforms basically of what looked like a 7-story building just knocked down. More than 100 buildings were damaged, and the reports are actually saying that at least 8 people lost their lives in the Ishikawa region. Very, very tough start to the year. And it wasn't even just that, guys. More news is actually coming out of Tokyo, and it's not looking great. So just after everyone rang in the new year, Japan's dealing with yet another heavy hit. Japan Airlines passenger jet packed with nearly 400 people had a fiery mishap. So the plane was coming in and it collided with a Coast Guard aircraft that was on its way to help with the earthquake relief. So very, very intense situation there. The scene got really crazy, with the commercial airplane turning into basically a big old fireball as it skidded along the runway. But thankfully, it sounds like, almost everyone got off the plane okay. But sadly, Japan's news is saying that 5 crew members from the Coast Guard plane did not make it. So, and their captain right now, he's fighting for his life. So not a very good start to the new year, especially over in Japan.
And we are following more breaking news out of Tokyo this morning. A Japan Airlines passenger jet with nearly 400 people on board. You see it landing there with the fireball on its wing. It collided with the Japan Coast Guard aircraft on its way to help with earthquake relief efforts. Japan's public broadcaster now reporting 5 crew members on that Coast Guard plane have been killed. The captain is in critical condition.
Now, video shows the commercial plane igniting into a fireball barreling down the runway this morning. The airline says nearly everyone from that flight was safely evacuated. Japan's public broadcaster says 17 passengers were injured. And this was the panicked scene inside the plane as smoke filled the cabin and passengers scrambled to find a way out. CNN's Will Ripley joins us live from Tokyo.
On everybody who, all of the passengers on the flight, 17 people ended up getting hurt in the chaos. It's a rough situation all around, especially with the country already dealing with the aftermath of this big earthquake. My thoughts and prayers for everyone who's involved in this. And it's just wild how we're dealing with all of this at the start of the new year. I mean, if you guys remember yesterday, I was sharing with you guys how places all around the world, from Japan, Alaska, California, Hawaii, Nevada, Washington, we're all the way to Taiwan, Iran, and a bunch of other spots have been feeling these rumbles of earthquakes in just the last 24 hours. And it wasn't just the ground shaking. There were tsunami warnings that were popping up too. Places like California with the San Andreas Fault, the central U.S. with the new Madrid seismic zone, and even Alaska and the Pacific Northwest are all on alert for some serious ground shaking due to their geographical locations on these big fault lines. But, let me tell you guys, when the earth decides to throw a tantrum, it can get pretty wild. But if you guys appreciate the updates, definitely hit the like button for the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'm gonna catch you guys on the next one. Be safe.